Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa. I hope you're all having a wonderful and creative day. And I'm coming to you with a real simple project that you can use up some of your 12 by 12 papers. So this is the finished product of a double-sided paper. I have the other piece here. This is the double-sided paper. And you can sort of tell I took the 12 by 12 and I cut it in half to be two 6 by 12 pieces. So the bonus of using double-sided paper is you can have two different looks for this. So I'm going to show you how to make this pocket, which is super simple, and then I'm going to use a single-sided paper to show you how you can do it and make it look like it is a double-sided paper. So stay tuned and let's get going. All right, so I took a 12 by 12 piece of paper and I cut it down to 6 by 12, and that's how I got the two pieces. And if you've got paper that doesn't really have too much of a picture, you'll be okay which way you cut the 12 by 12, but I'm going to show you how to determine which way to cut it when we do the next one. But I'm going to show you how to do the fold real fast, and then I'll show you in the next piece of paper how to determine which way to go. All right, so for the 12 by 6s, we're just going to score them at 4 inches. And then if you have the big 12-inch one, you'll score it at 8, but I don't. So I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to score again at 4. So 4 inches from each side. So the end up pocket is going to end up being about 4 by 6. That's how big this is. So I've made it so that's 4 by 6, so it's going to be an upstanding pocket, because this way is usually too wide for a lot of journals, because a lot of them are about 5.5 wide. So because we put the pocket in the right, but you can make it to go this way if you wanted to, if you've got a bigger journal, or if you want to send this as happy mail or something like that. In the end, if you wanted to make it just 5 inches, you could cut it down one more time. But for demonstration of using the whole 12 by 12, I'm going to pretend that is, or not pretend, it's going to be 6 by 12, and I'm going to do it so that the pocket stands upward. So all right, so I got the two scores, right? Yes, I do. All right, I'm just going to use this bone folder since I have it. Now, for this one, I had the green on the outside. So for this one, I'm going to put the pink on the outside. And we're going to fold this side up. And this is going to be my front. And then this one is going to go toward the back. That is back there. For the second pocket, now it's okay if it doesn't match back here, because that again would get glued down for it. All right, so for this pocket, you can take your fold and fold it either direction. If we wanted to go this way and fold this way to be opposite of that, or do it this way and fold it this way. Just depends on the look you want to do, but since I've got two different ones, I'm just going to fold it going this way. And you fold it back as far as you want. Make a pocket. Now for this example, I did glue this down, but you do not have to. You can leave it as a peekaboo. If you've got a place to write, you could put a blank piece of paper back here. You could glue it just in the corner so that it has a place that you can do a little bit of an uptuck, like that. All right, so for this, then the next thing we need to do is make this pocket. So we're just going to open this up, and I'm going to use a small circle, my big circle actually, and I'm going to make a small circle. And I'm going to make sure it's up far enough. I could probably move it over a little bit to make sure that it is into the space of the pocket. This one I did more of an angle. This one I did less of an angle. Again, nothing specific, but it's done. We just need to glue it together. So for the front page, you're going to glue it just on the bottom. Sorry, my voice just seems a little cracky. I'm not sure why. And if you want to make it a true pocket, you can glue it down the side. If you want it to be more of a tuck spot, let me grab a card here. If you want it to be more of a tuck spot like this is, or something bigger, let me grab something bigger, then you could grab it like that so it sticks out instead of having it down like that. Okay, so we're just going to glue that on the bottom, and then for this one, we are going to glue, I'll glue onto there. We're going to glue it into a pocket. So the bottom and the side. Now, one thing that I did on this is before I glued it down, I did nip the bottom just to make it a little rounder. I did ink around all these edges. Probably be best if we wanted to ink this to do it before I glued it, but you know how that goes. So we're gonna just throw a little ink on there. Oops. And there you go, simple pocket. This can go, will it fit? And that would go back there. Probably be better if the hole was on the other side for this one. That would be good. This would be good for this one with my little fabric tag. Probably just be a hair smaller, but that would go on there. And then this can go in this front one again, bigger and smaller. It can get attached to a page as a full pocket or as a side tuck, and there you go, matching, coordinating flips using double-sided paper. Okay, so I promised you that I'm going to show you how to do it on a single-sided paper, but first I'm going to show you how to cut the paper. All right, to cut the paper, I have the 12 by 12 here. So if we cut it this way and then we fold it and fold it, then this, picture it, this would be the front of the page. So this would be sideways music notes. Not the best thing in the world. So if we cut it down this way, you gotta imagine this in your head, let's cut it down this way, and then we go to fold it into thirds, then it is now facing forward. So for this one, we'd want to cut it going down this way. Let me get my cutter out and cut one just so we can do it. And I'm just gonna do the cheater method here. Fold it in half and pinch it. I do have the arm for the 6-inch, but I got no time for that. And again, if it's close, it's fine because 2 separate cuts. Did you get it? Oh yeah, perfect. All right, so we have 2 of them that are going that way. So if you have, I'll show you the other version I have here. I'm going to dare to cut into another piece of paper that's solid. So this one is one of those kind of anomaly things. The flowers are kind of, they don't really say one direction, but we're gonna just pretend again. So if I cut it this way, this would be the front. That'll work perfectly. Cut it that way. This could be the front. Perfect. Okay. So if I cut it the other direction, which is this way, again, that could be the front. Or that could be the front. So this one would go any direction. Pretty simple. So I'm gonna cut this one because I want to do, not that I necessarily need another purple thing for my purple journal, but you never know. I'm on quite the purple kick lately. I'm really loving that purple journal. Did I do it? Oh, I did it. Okay, to the side. All right, so some Tim Holtz papers. Oh, I can't believe you're going to use it, Lisa. All right, so for this one, the back is a little bit more random. It does have words that go this way and a few words that go this way. So it kind of leads to the, it can kind of go either way kind of thing. Now this side has faces. So you got to be a little bit more careful when you're cutting something that has a definite direction. I mean, you could have a face going sideways, not the worst thing in the world. But if you want to avoid that, you sort of have to pay attention to what you're doing. All right, so if we cut it going this way, the top to bottom would be this way. So this face would be sideways. This face would be sideways. This face would be sideways. This, it'd be okay. Some words sideways. That could work for fine. So if we, instead of cutting it this way, try to cut it this way. This is the top. This is the bottom piece. When we do it, I got up and down faces going that way, and up and down faces going that way. So for this one, we would want to cut it going this way. And I'm gonna do the cheat. I know I'm cutting a piece of Tim Holtz paper. Ah! And again, I wasn't so worried about the back because it does go 2 different directions. Oh, I cut it. All right, so let's take this one, and let's do a quick fold on it just to show that it worked correctly. All right, and then I will show you the single-sided one. All right, so we got 4. And this Tim Holtz is a little thicker, so I'm gonna score it a few times. And 4. All right. So I think I want this is the front. I think I could add something here a little bit better. Actually, I have to do a fold down. So if I do that and get rid of the face, I still have a place to decorate. If I do that, okay, this is going to be the front. All right, and then that is going to get folded back. Can't find my bone folder, my regular one, so I'm using the one from this scoring board. Not my favorite, that's for sure. All right, so we can fold it back and we'll get rid of the face. Now if I glued it down, no one would know a face was there. And the words, as you can see, are going that way and that way, so that's fine. There's a little decoration there, put something there. But if I wanted to show that, I could put a little bit of coffee dye paper back here, make a triangle, and make it a spot to write on. All right, and then the last thing you would need to do is just do a circle punch and see the little bits behind there, and then glue it as necessary. Bottom inside, and then the back, bottom inside. I know we're getting rid of such prettiness, but there you go. So that's how you would do it when you have a piece of paper that is double-sided, but you want to make sure that you're, again, figuring out if you fold it, that is going to be a good front, or if you fold it, that could be a good front, and that would be a good front because this gets folded down and you would still see him. So, all right, on to single-sided. Okay, so let me show you a prototype that I did and have not glued yet to get this started. All right, so this is a single side of piece of scrapbooking paper, and it looks like, well, at least it looks like it's double-sided. But when we open it up, you will see that it is a single-sided white, and I have kind of massacred it. But when it's all said and done and glued, who's gonna know? They'll never know, right? Let me show you how I did that. Okay, so we're going to do the same folds on this, where we do the 4-inch and 8-inch, or flip it over and do 4-inch. So if you don't have a scoreboard and you're thinking about getting one, I see no problem getting a smaller one. There are some really nice big ones out there, but let me do this floor one more time. Sort of thicker paper. It is totally doable just to flip stuff around. Sorry if that, I got my neighbor guy mowing. Hopefully it's not too loud. Okay, so we're gonna say that this is the front. Don't ask me why, but I think this looks better as the front. I know it's all music, but we're going to say that that is the front. Okay, so for on the double-sided stuff, we put the front down and folded it back, and we did this way. Now, this is where this becomes different. All right, if I'm going to fold the front this way, and this is going to be here, I'm going to fold this piece inward so that this is facing forward. But I do not want to fold this yet, because what I want to do is I want to cut a piece out of here to put on the front there. And I'm going to do my best to kind of make a normal size triangle, nothing too huge for that. So again, can't see where it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue it to here. Now this probably is going to be maybe facing the wrong direction a little bit, but it's okay because it would have been normally, if it was double-sided, flipped down, flipped over, flipped sideways, and it would probably look a little bit off. So So this being not maybe facing the right direction is not the worst thing in the world to happen. All right, I'm gonna glue the whole thing, and just wanna make sure, yep, this is the side I wanna flip down. The only thing that I'm gonna try to make sure the best of is to get it even with the edge of the paper. I can ink it a little to forgive itself, but okay, so this is the side that we're gonna flip down. Now you could flip it at where it's glued, but I find it's a little easier to flip before it's glued, just so that it doesn't pop up. Okay, so now we got that corner flip. Now they're not going to be as big probably as the other ones. You could try to cut a bit bigger, but because it's like opposite, it ends up being, it doesn't really make it much better, but that is a fine enough little blurb. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out our hole here for this. Same process of doing that. And I'm going to cut out a tiny hole, so it's not really huge. All right, but what we're going to do is, and I've seen this places where people will take this and glue it down and replace it. It's very hard to do, and you still usually see a little bit of white on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a divot, but I'm going to cut it down here in its hidden world, and I'm just going to cut it bigger. So we're going to go down farther and cut a piece. So once again, we close it. No one knows that I have scavenged a piece here and scavenged a piece here. It just looks like a normal pocket. All right, so we're going to take this piece and we're going to glue it down, and I'm going to just, sorry I'm gluing off camera, but it's not exactly rocket science to add glue. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to place it down again, making sure that it is at the top. And the stick glue really makes it helpful to be able to shimmy it a little bit. I would not suggest using our glitter glue because that doesn't move. And now we've got that on there. Now what could be fun is if you've got coordinating pages that you want two different things, let's say, and let me just, since I have this out and it's open, that you cut a paper from something different and used it on to one of these. I'm just going to glue it on top. Woo! See, that's what happens with glue. It's a little slippery. And we'll just put a little ink on there just because. And again, if you want to ink before you glue, probably not a bad idea to do that. Okay, so now you've got a different color. It makes it look like it's double-sided. I could have done the same thing with this and cut this piece out of here and glued it on there. And then this piece, when I cut, I could have put it on this one and had coordinating pieces to go with it and make it look like you've got two different papers. Fun, right? And let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's marry these two up because why not? They're pretty, they're purple. Can't go wrong with some music generics, and the purple is pretty. So let's go ahead and do this. And again, so quick to make these. We're gonna score at 4. Now these couple ones that I'm doing here, they're more like cardstock. They're a little bit thicker and they work great for these pockets. But I have to say that this mock-up one that I had, this was made with really thinner paper, and it still is going to be strong enough, I think, to make the pocket. So I would not worry about having to pick too thick of a piece of cardstock scrap of paper for this. you can work with some of the thinner stuff. Like I said, I really think the only difference is when I've scored these, I got to score them a couple extra times because they're thicker. That's all. All right, so again, so for single-sided, we are going to fold the front to the front and the second one to the back versus, or sorry, second one inside versus folding it to the back when you have double-sided. Okay, so there's that one, and let's fold this one. Fold to the front and fold to the inside to hide it. Okay, so once again, we are going to cut at a diagonal. Yep, I'm going to do that so the flowers are at the bottom. All right, so this is going to be the open side that you're going to see. So I'm going to want to cut this side. Probably the most important part of it is to make sure that you are able to hide your cut. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. That is upwards, so we can fold that back. So we're going to go ahead and cut this here. And I'm just going to, just for giggles, it doesn't really matter, but I'm going to cut it at the same angle for that. Okay, now, while I'm at it, I can go ahead and put a big circle, make sure I save it, and the big circle. And save it. I did try to angle it, or not really, I punched the hole farther down. I probably could have gone even farther, just so that it is farther down inside of your item. Okay. So for this is going to get folded this way. We're going to go ahead and glue this here. Well, I hope you like this idea and be able to use up some of your 12 by 12s. You can definitely see being able to use them up quite a bit here. And it's kind of nice to be able to make, if you got single-sided, to be able to make matching items. Like I said, the most important part is to make sure that you put it on the right side. Okay, getting gluey. Okay, now I'm going to try to do this scientifically, and I'm going to put a bit of a line there just to help it fold. Next thing I'm going to do after this video is find my bulb folder. And I don't know, I mean, I cleaned up recently. It shouldn't be hiding somewhere. That's all I got to say. Okay, so we got that folded. Now we just need to pop a hole. And we're going to go here. I do like to kind of eyeball where it needs to go, because if I centered it on this, it would be a little too close to the pocket. This isn't really, this is a little bit more centered to there for that. All right, so we're going to take our opposite circle, our half circle, pretty good. Oops, slippery. Looks like double-sided paper, doesn't it? Besides a bit of the white showing through, which again, easily taken care of. I'm going to just round this corner a little bit. Now, I know you might say, well, you know, when you go to put something in there, you'll see that that is not double-sided, but it's the illusion. I'm happy with the illusion. Put a little ink in there, and oops, and we would glue it. All right, so let's do this one. And once again, it was a lot easier to fold, especially since this is thicker now. I'm sure if I was using a thinner piece of paper, it would probably be easier to fold. But since this is thicker and I don't want it to fold at this line, it's a little bit easier to do. Yeah, these are definitely thicker. All right. Now it cracked just a little bit here because of the paper, but I think that's okay. Put a little ink on there, and you'll never know. Round the corner or edge. Ink that, and you will never know. They'll never know, right? How will they know? They'll never know. All right, once again, we're gonna do our best to put it a smaller cut. And like I said, I do a smaller one so that this tips in there. You can see that that covers a lot more than that space. So that is the only reason I do that. And you really can't only go about halfway up too, because once you start going, then it becomes weird. So you kind of have a finite amount that you can make it. Go. Not that having a little over to the side matters, but have the best chance of it being less seen. Now, if you don't want to go through the trouble of cutting your second hole out, you could just, I've done this before with holes, I've just gone through, you take the, when you're going to do this hole, I do that, and that shows me where the divot is, and then I can cover it up with ink without a problem. And I see this little corner is raising up just a hair. I'll put a little bit of glue on there. Oh, keep pulling it the wrong way. There we go. Okay, so let's glue these shut. And we can say that they are done. And I'll check the time and see if I want to decorate some of these, because these are fun. Okay, so for the inside pocket, for this, instead of doing this and this, we are just going to do this part right here. Just to, and actually probably don't even have to glue it in, do we? I'm not going to glue the second one in, because this is going to cover it and glue it. All right, so this I am going to glue to make a pocket, because I do not want this to open as far and see my scavenged guts inside here. Because like this, I just did the bottom, and you can open it up and you can see a little bit more in here that looks good. So if we This way, you can open it. It's harder to see those guts in there. They're in there, but it's a little harder to see that those guts are bad for that. All right, so I'm not going to glue this, which that's going to make this pocket just a hair bit bigger on the inside. I'm going to glue the side and the bottom. All right, so now this pocket is fully open because it has not been glued down, and this one is opened, a little bit smaller, but harder to see inside, to see the scavenged guts inside. Again, if we want to glue this down completely, we can. I'm not going to glue them for now because when it actually goes into a journal, then we could figure out if we want to decorate it or add something to it or put a dot there, make it an uptuck, whatever you want to do. All right, let's cover this glue up before it gets stuck. And oh, that, beautiful. And then that, like I said, a little bit smaller, but that works for that wonderfully. Fun, 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 fun. I like this pocket. I definitely do. All right, let's throw a little bit of fun decorating on this, shall we? Now, I do have, sitting here, I haven't really planned this out, so hopefully this doesn't take too long. I'm pretty sure I have enough pockets in there, but you know, there still might be a place to add one. Yeah, definitely don't want it on there. Kind of sad that I kind of want to cover that up. Okay. Let's see if I got some. You're pretty. I don't want to cover up too much, so those flowers are really pretty. Okay, I like the flowers on there. With that. All right, I think I'll just do that, ink it up. And for this one, I do like that. It's pretty. I guess if I cover one of the flowers, it's not the worst thing in the world. All right, I'm gonna trim this and ink it. Okay, all trimmed and inked. And this little horse guy's a little bit cut too big. I think I need to just trim him a little too. Put a little ink on him. Alright, I think I'm going to wrap this label around. There's a sticker. I believe, yeah, it's a sticker. I'm going to wrap this label around just a little bit. And then he'll be down here. Yep. Cute. And maybe I'll get a little number to go with him. I think I definitely will glue this down. So we're just going to add glue to the whole thing, especially the tip. It is thicker paper, so I'm using the Art Glitter Glue. Okay, and a little bit of number. Not a fan of it now that I've taken it off. It's too big. Need something smaller. Okay, that is better. Yeah, cute. A pocket and a pocket. All right, let's do the same with this one. Put a little ink on there. And some ink on this one. Put that down there. Whoops, almost lost it. And a little ink on the outside of this. Will not be a mistake. I think I'm just gonna corner tuck this to make it a spot to be able to possibly put an up tuck or a side tuck. These are pretty flat, pretty indiscriminate. So if you got something you want to put it in there, or something that way, that'll work. Yeah, so it'd be easy to be able to tuck something small in there. All right, your garbage. I feel like there should be something up here. Maybe like a butterfly. There's a flower. All right, I found a butterfly. Has some white and purple on there. I was thinking the purple, do a purple butterfly, but I think it would just blend in too much. So I found one that was a tad lighter. And voila, one little butterfly. Yeah, cute. Probably just use a little bit of boo-boo tape. You can throw a little on there too. All right, I'm going to use this one and cut it in half. Okay. Do that one, and I think we'll do it on here. That way. Yeah, just bring a little bit of the grunge to it. I like it. Well, I hope you like this idea. Any questions or comments, please let me know below. And I'd love to see a thumbs up from you if you liked the video. I would appreciate it. All right, so the ones that we got done. Did this one beforehand. Very pretty. I like that. This is like a Tim Holtz card with some muted greens and some peaches to go with that. And there is its counterpart, still waiting to be decorated. You can go in the same journal or two different journals. But again, very fun. And then I did the Tim Holtz one. I haven't glued that together, but we did go through to figure out what we could do with that. Like I said, the other one I found, be able to have a face down below, and that'll be fun for that. Nice neutral. And then the single-sided, where we made it look like it is double-sided. Very fun. And again, should be able to add it to my purple journal. I have to find a home for them because they're fun, right? Okay, that is going to be it for me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that has stopped by. And as usual, I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.